once that All-Star break happened, you got Naylor and Gino into the fold, and Julio turned on his talent. Here we are. It was beyond exhilarating. It was surreal. It was, I think everybody in that building, and first of all, kudos to the fans that stuck around. I didn't see any empty seats. I didn't see anybody leaving that building for 15 innings and watching opportunity after opportunity go by the wayside. And you're just going, oh my goodness, what are they gonna, can they get it this time? Can they make it happen this time? And you kind of get exhausted. You could kind of hear the volume come down in the stands a bit. I mean, I think the fatigue sets in at some point, and then they rerun the salmon race and Humpy wins. And I know it seems kind of cheesy. That gave a jolt to the crowd. It really, I'm not saying that's why they won, but it did kind of breathe a little bit more life into a crowd that I think was deflating a bit because it's exhausting. But when Polanco came up with that hit, I was up in the radio booth. I was watching up there with Ryan Rowland-Smith on my left, Charlie Furbush, and Mike Lefkoe, and it was just pure pandemonium. Just up there, high-fiving, hugging, just yelling, disbelief. It was completely surreal, and may go down as one of the greatest moments in Mariners history. How about Bryce Miller giving up a home run on the first pitch, throws 27 pitches in the first inning, and you're going, oh boy, he's on short rest, 27 pitches. First pitch leaves the yard off that cheater, George Springer. And then he locks it down. I mean, and it's, you look at the box score, it's his best start of the entire season. To see a guy who's gone back and forth off the ILs, had a very disappointing season because he hasn't been healthy, hasn't been nearly as effective as he was last year. And for him to come up in a situation where they desperately needed innings, just give me innings, keep him in the game. Not only did he do that, he locked them down. I can't say enough about just the guts and the grit that he showed out there, especially again on short rest. And then the bullpen has been phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal for this team, not just in the postseason run, through the entire season, because literally everybody on this staff has either been injured outside of Luis Castillo or had just dud starts where they've had to cover 6 innings, 5 innings. Sometimes it went into extra innings. They covered 7. I mean, it's just the bullpen. Yeah, you're going to have those moments where somebody gives it up. But by and large, this bullpen has been absolute nails. I think we saw him learn. I think we saw him, when he left Kirby in to face Kerry Carpenter, I think there was a lot of first guessing. Certainly there's second guessing, and that's just the nature of a baseball manager. A lot of people looked at that and said, man, you had Spire ready to go, and you left Kirby in there, and then Carpenter takes him deep. And then we saw him the next game with Luis Castillo, goes 4 2/3, and got him out early. And I think you just saw him do that from that point on. Better to have a guy pulled a batter or two early as opposed to a batter or two too late. Because as we've seen, in most of these games, runs are at a premium. I mean, the first 2 games in that Tiger series, extra innings, 11 innings, 3-2. Next game, 3-2. These are tightly contested games. Every run means the world. So you've seen him err on the side of caution since then. And I thought in that 15-inning game, he was outstanding. He was outstanding. I mean, he basically used just about every available arm that he had there. And look, he's made moves that don't work, but it doesn't mean it wasn't the right move. The game where Spire came in and gave it up, that was the right move. I know in hindsight, everybody goes, oh, why'd you bring him in? He came in there. You know what this guy does to him and blah, blah, blah. No, that was the right move. Problem was Spire grooved a cookie right over the middle of the plate. I mean, it was center cut, served up on a tee. That's not Dan's fault. The move to bring him in was the right move, but it didn't end the right way. So, just more importantly, I've seen him learn. Seen him just kind of, from that first game, I feel like, okay, I might have kicked that one. We're not going to let that happen again. I think the pressure is squarely on the Blue Jays. Mariners, this is still uncharted territory. They've never been to a World Series. Certainly there's pressure and hope attached to them. But the Jays are down 0-2. You lost both games at home, and they're over there going, hey, we're the number 1 seed. We're expected to get through the Mariners. We're expected to get to the World Series. We've been to the World. We've won a World Series. And they were being talked about. They were the best offensive team in baseball, best offensive team in the playoffs. They put up 34 runs on the Yankees in that series, and they've been held to 4 runs in the first 2 games. So to me, the pressure is on them. And if the Mariners, and this is true of every game, jump on them early, get on them early, whether it's in their building or this building, where you're either silencing their crowd or this building is going to explode if the Mariners jump on them, put up a run in the first inning, first couple of innings, they jump out to a lead. You're going to see those bats get gripped a little tighter up there. You're going to see those pitchers try to be maybe a little too fine and make a mistake. So to me, all of the pressure is squarely on the shoulders of the Blue Jays, who do not want to see this team lock it up on their home field, watch this fan base celebrate in front of them. They don't want it on their field either, but you got 5 games left. They've got to take 4 of 5. They've got to take 4 of 5. All of the pressure, in my opinion, is on them. Man, it's still surreal to even talk about it, and I'm not even allowing myself to get beyond tomorrow's game because I don't want to jinx anything, but it's amazing that they've gotten here in a season where their pitching didn't live up to the billing for various reasons, most notably injury. I mean, last year, best rotation in baseball. Logan Gilbert led all of Major League Baseball in innings pitched. You had 2 of your starters finish the year with sub-3 ERAs, and Brian Wu and Bryce Miller. You didn't have any of that this year. Everybody got hurt. Some underperformed. It's been hard to get guys to find their rhythm where they're just consistently who they were the year before. That's all of them. And somehow you were able to get to where you are now, 2 games away from your first trip to a World Series. It's been the bullpen. It's been the additions at the All-Star break, most notably Naylor, who's been phenomenal. And it's been other guys stepping up. I mean, you got a year out of Cal Raleigh nobody ever imagined. I mean, had he not had that year, Mariners aren't here. So he carried that offense when it was really struggling. He was the one consistent force. So it's a combination of Cal having a historic season, Julio having a ridiculous second half, which he tends to do, and then the additions after the All-Star break, plus a bullpen that, for the most part, has been absolutely bulletproof. Yeah, again, they have hiccups. They'll have a night where it's not there, but for the most part, this bullpen has been asked to do a ton. These guys have all, I think, to a man, had career highs in appearances and innings pitched. I mean, they've been called on a ton, and they have carried a lot of this weight. So it's been a collective, but once that All-Star break happened, you got Naylor and Gino into the fold, and Julio turned on his talent. Here we are.